Guys, alright, so kind of a curveball on the heater. I had looked around forever. Cobalt Aquatics is having issues. I don't really know what kind of issues they're having, so I really can't speak, but all I know is I can't find the 200 watt neotherm heater anywhere. I even reached out to them. I didn't get a response, which is kind of unfortunate. So what I've done is I just researched. Hydor makes really good quality heaters. The price on this wasn't too bad. It's already preset. The problem I had with the Eheim Jaeger was that you have to calibrate it. It's not really spot on. This is spot on. So my tank's running a little warm. I got the fans going all the time, and I'm going to try to lower my temperature to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now I've got it around 84, and I think that's going to be the sweet spot for that Madagascar lace plant. It's kind of floundering. It's just not really booming. If you remember, 2 years ago I had a lace plant in there that was just, leaves on it were, you know, almost 2 feet, honestly. And actually they're more than 2 feet, because my tank is 2 feet deep. So, but anyway, you can go check those videos out. But and then I got aggressive with how I trimmed it, put it in shock, and then it died on me. So totally messed up. So now I've got a new one in there where all I got was a bulb. It's grown out, it's done okay, but it's just not, it's surviving, but it's not thriving. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my temperature to 82. That's about as cold as you need to get it for discus. Some people might keep them in cooler water. I wouldn't recommend it. And that's really not the temp that a lot of the discus breeders and keepers keep them at. If you're trying to spawn discus, you definitely probably need to kick it up to 84. It's a fully submersible, and it's got like a kind of a powder in here. It's supposed to have a lot of smarts on the electronics. Some of the negative comments, here's what's interesting. Now, there's some people that buy a heater and they go low end and they buy a heater, and what they don't realize is the way these heaters are really rated, they're only designed to make your tank go so many degrees above a certain temperature. And that's really it. So, you know, I read an article where a person had their tank in their basement, and the temperature was 60 degrees. And so they're trying to push it, I don't know, 15 degrees above that, I think. No, more than that. Anyway, I think they're trying to keep it at 78. Which would be 18 degrees above 60. These things aren't really designed for that, and I'm probably going to do a video at some point. I'm even thinking about doing an app for the iPhone, iPad, and maybe Google, Android, for looking at heaters. BTUs and the way that works, these things only put out so many BTUs, and they can only put so much energy in the tank. What I read about is a guy had one in really cold water, and then when he did a complete tank breakdown and kicked them back on, they're having issues. But he was not running it. These are really designed for your average household temperature, and 60 is pretty cold. I don't know many people that live in a 60 degree Fahrenheit house, but anyway, it's designed to just, you know, click in. I'm going to set it on 82, and I like that this is black instead of the shiny silver that the Eheim Jaeger is, and also like that it's calibrated. So I'm going to put that in, set that on 82, and its electrical heat is really one of the most expensive kind of heats you can do, because really what you're doing is you're running electricity through a set of coils that's high resistance, and the resistance is what's generating the heat. So, you know, it's rated as 400 watts, and I don't want to get into the whole amps and how much electricity it uses, but for those people that, you know, heat with gas versus heating with electricity with a central air system, gas is so much cheaper. And of course, you're not going to heat your tank with gas. But I will say this, if you have a lot of tanks, you know, if you're a fish farm, if you've got a huge fish room, it's a lot cheaper to look at buying a heating or an AC unit and just set the room at the temperature that you want for all your tanks. I think a heater is the most important element of a fish tank to get right. If you get it wrong, you're going to lose fish. So, you know, if you've got neons, cardinals, those guys, if they get cold, they just go into an ick frenzy. They hate cold water. They don't do well in it. And of course, if your heater sticks on because it's running all the time and it doesn't get a chance to get a break, chances are the contacts will just freeze shut and it'll never shut off. And then when when it starts to warm up in your house, it's just still putting out heat and it won't stop. So you need to pay attention. Everybody kind of does these different. You know, so many people say, oh, you need so many watts or so many gallons. That's not really how those work. The Aham Jaeger, you know, their 300 watt says it'll do, you know, 100 gallon, 120 gallon tank. They rate this for a 105 gallon tank. So my tank technically is a 120 tall, which is really only 119 gallons. By the time you add the substrate, the driftwood, all the things that displace the water, I'm maybe, I don't know, 110. Probably displacing at least 9 gallons of water with the substrate and everything else. So I'm right at close to 105. I'm not far enough away from that I feel like I need 2 heaters. I am going to monitor it. But this looks like a good quality deal. I've always liked the Hydor inline heaters. This is fully submersible, which is, I guess, what this is showing right here. It is a small size for 400 watt. It's supposedly shatter-resistant. So they're saying 25 watts for, you know, 2 to 7 gallon. 50 watt does 5 to 14. 100 does 14 to 26. And then the 400 watt. The 400 watt is only available in U.S. markets. I did not realize that. Sorry, guys. And they say basically it's up to 105 gallon. I know people that use this on tanks bigger than 105. What's interesting is this is actually made in Slovakia, which is promising. For household use, indoor use only. It looks like it's got a sensor on the back. My guess is this is some kind of thermal sensor that if it gets really hot, it'll shut down. So like if your water level goes low, just a guess, I don't know, but here you can kind of see, let me see if I can get really close, kind of see the powder mesh that's in there, and it goes all the way to the end. But this is a 400 watt heater, only available to folks in the United States. I've already set this. What's interesting is this didn't really click for me. It wasn't snappy. The other thing that's odd is this is even numbers here. See how that's even? See how the numbers are even? 26, 24. The US numbers are odd. Maybe they just think Fahrenheit's odd as it is, which I would agree. We've had a physics class. Metrics so much easier to work with in so many different ways. But if you notice, the numbers here, they're odd numbers. So let me go here. My desk is a mess, but if you look, that kind of surprised me. I was expecting even numbers here, and they're not. They're odd. So I kind of had to do a halfway setting between 83 and 81 to get my 82. Shocked that they're not doing even numbers. Everybody else does even. Cobalt Aquatics says even. Anyway, odd heater, pun intended. All right, I'll put all this together for you guys in a video today. Thanks for watching. Happy Saturday. Have a good one. Later. Hey guys, letting the heater calibrate. The settings on the heater are not accurate. Go figure. I've actually set the heater to like 79 degrees Fahrenheit based on the dial. It was on a little while ago, and the tank temperature was right at 86, and I had it set on like 81, and the light was still on. This is the best way I know to calibrate a heater. It's just old school thermometer. And it turns out during this calibration that this right here is off a degree. So it's really 86 in the tank. It's warm. Most fish that would be boiling, but not for discus. Anyway, I gotta go to work. It's kind of a bummer. Not a good way to leave them. I got the fans on, and we'll see what happens. So, but you can see them, they're breathing kind of heavy. It's almost like a panning. But they'll make it. They'll be fine. So, and these guys are happy as ever, and the Barclays is doing really well. You can see the pretty color on it. That's a pretty plant. So, anyway, I gotta go to work later. Here it is. Just got home from work, and everybody looks decent. No big complaints here. It's at 82.4, and that's really 81.4 because this thing's off about a degree. So that's about as cool as I want to get it. That's about right where it needs to be, and I need to recalibrate that. But if we look here, this is the mark. Oh, somebody's kind of moved that thermometer. But if you look, let me see if I can get it focused. So you can see it's right at 81. Sorry, I'm shaking. All right, so, and I've actually dialed it in. It's at 81, and the dial shows that it's at what? Almost 70. Oh, well, that's 79. It's almost at 77 on here. So that's just kind of crazy. Not very calibrated, not really impressed with that. Seems to be the norm. Just a heads up. I'll put all this together for you in a video. But there you go, there's the Hydor heater. And hopefully it has been easier to calibrate than the other, believe it or not. So we'll see. I'll get that set, and then I'll try to move it and hope it won't change on me. But you guys, hey, thanks for watching. And look at that Barclays plant, man. It is rolling. This tank's doing pretty well. I think I got rid of all the duckweed out of here. It's kind of a challenge, believe it or not. And then here's this tank. And the snails are pretty much gone, and I've got a loach living in there somewhere. So anyway, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching, and talk to you guys later. All right, guys. Happy Friday. I just can't make this stuff up. So anyway, still letting that heater calibrate. The digital thermometer's off a little bit, so it's really not 83.8. It's 82.8 Fahrenheit. And I've got one fan running. What I did is I reversed the flow of the fan. So instead of the air blowing on the water, it's just pulling air out of the canopy from below. What I'm trying to have happen there is I'm trying to not, you can see that that plant got dried out by the air hitting it. As a matter of fact, you can see this one kind of got dried out as well. They'll bounce back and that'll go away, but it's just too much air on it. But the thing I wanted to show you guys, so I did a big water change, got my temperatures right, and then these guys spawned. See if I can show you behind the, trying to make sure you see it. But there's a whole bunch of eggs just right back there, if you can see it. If you can see it all around that pole. Well, man, I'm having a hard problem showing you guys. But there are eggs right down in there. And then these guys went and laid eggs over here. So, wow. So needless to say, there's been a little bit of thermonuclear war with the cichlids. Nothing like one pair breeding to cause chaos. Now there's two. So anyway, I got to get back to work, but I want to show you guys that. Have a good one. Time to feed them. Later. Check out the Barclays. Lovely plant. Happy Friday. You guys, thanks for watching. I didn't get rid of all the duckweed. Look at that. That stuff, man. Stuff that just survives everything. See, look, a little bit in there. Not my favorite plant. All right, guys, later. And here's 5 gallon. I got to run. See ya. Later.